When life in the city is hard enough, and when you got a little brick, so what? Wanna take it out? Yeah. Life in the city is hard enough, and when you hear them things click, about to bust it out. Yeah. Life in the city is hard enough, and when you got a little brick, so what? Wanna take it out? Yeah. Life in the city is hard enough, and when you hear them things click, about to bust it out. Yeah.
I know you never met my kind. Fascination never blew my mind. Bitter words, hard, too sweet. You confused, don't waste my time. Style try, caught them one. Another sucker know what it's done. Remove the rapper, blow, pop the fam, living gushing like bubble gum. Psychic anti-psychos, me. I'm tossing braid and pigeons around me. A 10-9 to check hoes who repeatedly try to check size me. Finger gotta cut this trigger. Don't go gas the kill. Don't go fall round the corner. You meet folks.
When life in the city is hard enough, and when you got a little brick, so what? Wanna take it out? Yeah. Life in the city is hard enough, and when you hear them things click, about to bust it out. Yeah. Life in the city is hard enough, and when you got a little brick, so what? Wanna take it out? Yeah. Life in the city is hard enough, and when you hear them things click, about to bust it out. Yeah. You never even heard of one such, and never seen no one such, until you live on the run. Cause you can't see the way the bullets come though. Some will, some won't, some get it, some don't. Ain't no sympathy for the weak and needs me a temple bleed like what? Legs in the air laid out like a dead rope to the bump. Trying to ride in on the coat, should've never hit the bad note. I bring the image of a broken tree as I scope your brains through the red smoke. And the people wouldn't even care, they saw you once and then no more. So we didn't even hit a click, cause it was already clocked. If you really made, you get voted up, come it up and toss. Cause life in the city is hard enough, and when I got a little bit, so what? I'ma take it out, yeah. When life in the city is hard enough, and when you got a little brick, so what? Wanna take it out, yeah. Life in the city is hard enough, and when you hear them things click, about to bust it out, yeah. Life in the city is hard enough, and when you got a little brick, so what? Wanna take it out, yeah. Life in the city is hard enough, and when you hear them things click, about to bust it out, yeah.
Welcome back to the show. Throwback Thursday. Throwing it back to 1979. 10 years old at the time. Hey, I meant to mention this a couple times today, and really over the last couple of days, man. I need to give more shots out to the people that send music for the breaks, break music. The track that you just heard just now, that's one of Kesey's artists. The Kicking It With Kesey show. The name of the group is Folk Teller. And so I'm sure you've heard this. We used to play a commercial on the network that featured this track. So I think we actually played another one from them today as well. You know what I need from the Stewies that send me music to play during the breaks? Send me information on where people can find the music at. You know, I'll do it for free right now. If we can figure out a way I can charge y'all some money to do it, I'll do that too. But right now, you're doing me a service as well. So I'll do it for free now. Shoot me if you've ever sent me any music to play during the break. So it could be John Fisher, Patty Cake, Microwave, my homeboy Pee Wee Shine, these folks, Folk Teller from my man Kesey. If you've ever sent me any music that we played during the breaks, I have the names. I can just mention the names now, but I like to give out like a web address if you're on iTunes or something like that, man, and maybe get you a couple of sales or something like that. So email me at Doug@theDougStewartShow.com. Yeah. We'll jump back into the chat here on Spreaker.com here in a second, but I've been told y'all Ole Miss been cheating. Ole Miss officials announced Wednesday that the school is self-imposing a one-year bowl ban for the 2017 season after the university received a new NCAA notice of allegations that accuse the school of lack of institutional control. Remember I told y'all about lack of institutional control? Basically can be placed on any malfeasance, period. You know, that's what they used to do is they just wrap everything under lack of an institutional control. But it's amazing how Rick Pitino and having holes in the dorm room all the damn time. Speaking of Rick Pitino, he got almost into a fight last night. But it's funny how Rick Pitino and his players having holes up in the dorm right under his nose, still kept his job. And they decided not to slap the whole lack of institutional control onto him. And it is what it is. You know what it is. But they're slapping the lack of institutional control and that Rebels head coach Hugh Freeze failed to monitor his coaching staff. Stop right there again. The point that I just made about Rick Pitino, is exactly what they're getting, the NCAA is getting Hugh Freeze and Ole Miss for. Not that, and I'm going to talk more about the story here in a second, not that Hugh Freeze was doing anything illegal, but everybody surrounding him was doing all this illegal shit, and whether he knew or not, he should have known. That's it. That's it. That's the blanket accusation, charge of lack of institutional control. They used to throw it around all the time like 10, 15 years ago, and they still do now, as evidenced by this story. But certain people that have done things over the last couple of years that have slid, man, in particular Rick Pitino at Louisville, they just magically forgot about lack of institutional control. It's the same exact thing. Pitino and the staff and the school ultimately blamed all of this on a couple of assistants, interns or whatever, team managers. I can't even remember what the dude's title was. They blamed all of this, and they're bringing these holes in and out of the dorm for an entire year, maybe even 2 years, right under Pitino and the team's nose, and he doesn't know anything about it. That's that bullshit. Stop it. You know good and well Rick Pitino knew them holes was in that damn dorm. Yeah. The notice of allegations which the university received Wednesday morning included 8 new alleged rules violations and the lack of institutional control charge. The NCAA has now accused the Rebels of 21 rules violations by current or former members of the football coaching staff. Ole Miss Athletic Director Ross York said the school agreed with the NCAA that there was sufficient and credible evidence to support at least 3 of the new charges. But he said the university would contest the allegations of lack of institutional control and charge against Freeze of failing to monitor his staff. Let me just run through a couple of these charges, okay? The 7 additional charges brought up against the Rebels. Remember, they already had 14. It's a total of 21 now. A former student athlete was allowed to hunt on property owned by a booster. Listen to how the whole booster conversation intermingles with this conversation. A former student athlete was allowed to hunt on property owned by a booster while he was being recruited by the Rebels, and then again on a few occasions after he enrolled at Ole Miss. A legal benefit. I threw that in there just now. From March 2014 to January 2015, a former Ole Miss staff member provided improper recruiting inducements in the form of lodging and transportation to 2 prospects who enrolled at other institutions. A former Ole Miss staff member committed unethical conduct by providing false and misleading information to the university and the NCAA about his involvement in the recruiting violations. A former Ole Miss staff member arranged for a recruit to receive cash payments from 2 boosters totaling $13,000 and $15,000 cash. That's it. Boosters giving players cash to come play football in Oxford, stinking ass, Mississippi. And I could go on and on, but the point has been made. This is why you listen to the Doug Stewart Show. I'm half sports talk radio host, half Negro Damas. Yes, sir. Listen, man. Not that it can't happen, not that you can't be an upstart program or a program that has very little success in the past, and then, increasingly get on the national stage and in the national conversation for a national championship, man. But when you are in Oxford, Mississippi, you have relatively no football history to talk about except for Archie Manning and Eli for a couple of years. But even when they were there, they didn't win no damn national championships. When you are in Little Oxford, Mississippi, and you're consistently for a 3, 4, 5-year period bringing in 5-star recruits from Atlanta, Georgia. You remember, what's the kid's name? Robert Kimdichie, first-round draft pick. He's from Metro Atlanta. When you get a kid from Metro Atlanta to bypass Alabama, Georgia, Florida, to go play football in Oxford, Mississippi, somebody getting paid. It's easy. It's very easy. Yeah, I knew from day one when Kimdichie, I think this is probably the first time it really came to light that, yeah, these cats doing something down there. Because they had been getting all these top players, and they got Kimdichie to come down there and play for them, man. And his brother was already there. But they got these Kimdichie boys to go down there and play for them. Once again, bypassing Georgia, who always gets top classes. Alabama. This kid could have played anywhere. And when he went down there, I was like, oh, hell yeah, they cheating. They paying somebody. I mean, it could happen, man. It could happen, but Ole Miss just did it too fast. It happened like overnight. And it was like somebody flipped the switch, and Ole Miss was getting 5-star players, and competing in the SEC. And that shit ain't never happened before. So it was obvious. It can happen, but not as fast as it happened for Ole Miss. It just don't work like that. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. And you know what? One last thing about this. It seems like Ole Miss is going to get off in relative terms based on all of these allegations. It looks like they're going to get a slap on the wrist. Like the self-imposed ban or whatever restriction, penalty for them that they implemented on their own. What the NCAA is going to do. As far as going forward, it doesn't sound like it's going to be like a death penalty type thing, what happened at SMU. Yeah. They look like they're getting based on all of these different things and greasing palms and whatnot, man. It sounds like they might get off easy in relative terms to what they've been doing. And yeah, they can't pin anything on Hugh Freeze. But once again, just like Rick Pitino, you know good and well he knows everything that's going on in his campus with his players. You better believe that. Let me read some messages in the chat room on Spreaker.com. From my man Vince Wright, the Big Smooth. Happy birthday.